Howdy y'all, I'm going to be going over the different types of clamps that I use for projects getting ready to be put on the lathe. Let's get to it. Alrighty, so there are very many different types of clamps to be used. There are some that are very specialized and then others that are very generalized as well. I'm going to be going over several generalized types, some very common types, and the reasons I do or do not like them for projects I'm going to be putting on the lathe. First one is my least favorite for particularly the project I'm going to be putting on the lathe, because they're smaller projects and it's going to be this clamp. I really enjoy using these clamps on bigger projects, things that don't have to be as small, because if I'm having something move around, I can't be as precise with this one. When you go up, it goes up a certain amount, and if you want it to back off, then you have to push this and it normally drops down, or it just gives away all of its pressure. It's not very precise, and I don't enjoy that about it for small projects. For bigger projects, these are amazing. I do enjoy using them. You can't use the most amount of pressure on them because they will start to bend. I've done that to some of these. I don't remember where I got these from. I doubt it was Rockler. It was probably Harbor Freight or something. These were in many years ago. I've probably had these at least 10 years now, and I do enjoy them, but just not for lathe projects, the small projects that are going to be put on the lathe. So I do want to put that out there, that it is great clamp, just not for this particular project. Now, C-clamps. Big or small, I have huge ones, I have teeny tiny ones. They work great, they just become cumbersome sometimes, and leaving them out, they don't have the flattest edge, and when I try and put something that has weight here, it either tips, or it does balance well sometimes. This isn't the greatest example of the ones that tip over, but I don't care for using these for lathe projects, the small ones. Again, many other projects or other small projects where it's not the multiple pieces in between sliding around, these work great. I love C-clamps. I have tons and tons of C-clamps, but just for lathe projects, I only use these more in a pinch. If I'm doing tons and tons of gluing projects and I need to clamp things, then I will go to these. They're not something I won't use, but they're a lot better than these. I will not use these unless it is absolute pinch time, and every single clamp that I own is being used for the lathe projects, and that's all I have left. This is more the medium. I'm not as unwilling to use it for lathe projects, but this is not my favorite to go to. So this would be number 2 on my list of what I would use for clamping up small lathe projects, for ornaments, little things such as that. My number 1 clamp that I will use is this style clamp. I really enjoy these because I can be very precise, and there's something I can hold on to. There's plenty of room. So as y'all can see, I got plenty of room. I can move it in and out, and I can make the minute adjustments similar to a C-clamp, but with these, I really enjoy it because there's flat edges I can lay things down. So I can lay it on its back. I can lay it on the top, especially if it's well balanced, and I have another one going the opposite way, and I have it this far apart. I can set it down, and there's 2 flat spots to set it. Or I can just have them both facing the same way, but I have it both on the back. It does work a lot easier. I have been able to do that with C-clamps, just not to as great effect in my own experience. But these clamps, I really prefer to use for clamping up these smaller lathe projects, because I can just move it in and out super quick and then tighten it up, loosen it up. But I would recommend, if y'all are going to be moving it right up against the piece and it's nice and tight, don't have this backed all the way out, because then to try and get it started, sometimes depending on which clamps you're using, if there's a little bit of rust and it takes a little bit longer to turn, it could be very cumbersome, very hard to do. So I would recommend having a little bit out, so you have a little bit of give, so it's going to roll around, you have a little bit of thread showing, and then you can go all the way up to your pieces that are going to be glued, and then you can tighten it. So that is one thing I would note on any screw style of clamp. But these are by far my favorite. These are what I use first and foremost on any small lathe project that's going to be glued up. If I'm completely out of these, then I will resort to C-clamps, and I'll basically never use the others for lathe. It's very far and few between. I've used them, they're not really precise, and they make the pieces slide out, whereas this, it's starting to slide out. I can back it off, straighten out the pieces, tighten it again. It's starting to slide again, back off, try and hold it together, tighten it. It works very, very well. I can pick up projects without being near the glue. I can have it set on the ground, and I can pick it up here and have all this room that I'm not getting glue on me. If I'm trying to move it the following day, I can just grab this, and I can have several projects linked together with these clamps inside each other, and I can pick up several at a time and move it. And if I'm not in clothes that are supposed to get dirty, these work exceedingly well, because then I don't have to be near the project itself. If I'm just trying to move it out of the way, move it out of a particular spot in the yard, or out of a particular spot in the garage if I need to get somewhere else. But if it's gonna rain, I just grab the end of this, move it, do whatever I need to do, and it's not having to be right up against it, because if there's little drops of glue, something on the wood, and just say I need to go somewhere else, and I'm not really wanting to get too dirty at that point. I'm further away from the project than if I were using this. I can just be this far away, pick it up, move it, and it's done. I know that may sound very contradictory to the woodworking channel, because we get wood dust, wood shavings on us all the time, but sometimes we go places we don't want stuff all over us. And so that's why I like using these. I can just grab the hand, or what I call a handle, whatever this piece is called, I don't know a technical term, but I just grab this, or I can grab the actual handle itself, and I can just walk off with it. But these work really well. If you haven't used them before, you just push this little lever, you can go back and forth, and you just tighten this up against your piece. If it's starting to squirt out and start to move, you can back it off, move your pieces back together, and tighten it, and it works very, very well. I really, really enjoy using these. They work great. So that's the 3 types of clamps that I would be using for small lathe projects. There are many other types of clamps that I have and use, but not for this purpose. So I hope you all enjoyed. There will be more videos coming up about gluing the small lathe projects very soon, and I'll see y'all in those videos.